something that's on my mind. We don't really choose relationships. I mean, we think we do. We might have a list of things we want from people. And you might say, okay, I'm going to choose this person or that person. Or we don't even have a list, which is worse than, having a list. Because I feel like you as a person should, like with any other part of your life, should at least know what you want from a partner. And if you don't, that really makes this process of finding someone who's healthy for you really, really hard. I find that we don't choose partners consciously. Again, everything is energy. So you will find mirrors. A mirror is just someone who reflects some part of yourself that you're comfortable with or you're not comfortable with. Usually what you're not comfortable with. Because the subconscious mind is way more powerful than the conscious mind. So if you have a lot of internal trauma that you haven't dealt with, a lot of healing that needs to be done, but you're not doing, your shadow self, which is just the unconscious negative part of your mind, will usually find people to connect with. I call it ego mating. Ego mating. It's basically your egoic self finding mates for you instead of your conscious self finding mates for yourself. And we do it all the time, not just with like romantic partners, but friends as well. We will usually find someone or people who are very familiar to our egoic self. For example, if your mother was very neglectful and she didn't pay you much attention, you will usually find someone who's very neglectful as well, who doesn't pay you any attention. Because your emotional self is familiar with that. Your egoic self is familiar with that. And that's what it wants in its life. Even though consciously you want better for yourself, consciously you want someone who gives you attention, who wants to, show you the world, spend time with you. Your egoic self is just going to supersede that small bit of conscious part that you have. That's like, I want better. It's going to supersede that. And it's going to be like, I don't care what you want. I'm going to take this for myself. And that's because we haven't dealt with that part. We haven't talked to that ego. We haven't listened to it. We haven't given it space to exist so we can observe it. It exists in the unconscious part of ourself. It's a perpetual energy. Without any attention, it thrives. If you have a wound in your body, don't just let it sit there and be like, especially if it's a bad wound. Our body's good at, healing. But something that's festering, that needs clear attention, clear cleaning, clear stitching, maybe even surgery. And you ignore it. It just gets worse. I'm not saying you have to be medical with it. I love the stories about people who meditate and change their way of thinking and they heal. Because they give what was there conscious attention. So if you're looking for friends or a partner, and you realize you're having repeating patterns, you're not addressing the part of yourself that's familiar with those patterns. Only until you address the familial part of yourself that wants that familiarity can you change and choose something different. Otherwise, you'll just be repeating cycles over and over and over again. And no one wants that. So a list is always a good place to start. Now, when you have a list, your observation of who is your current circle would be a good idea of what trauma you need to heal. A lot of people don't like the idea of leaving their friends behind. But if you're healing a part of yourself that these friends bond on, and they can't remain friends with you even though you've healed that part of that trauma that they were clinging to, why would you want them to remain in your energy field? Why would you want them to remain so close to you? We hamper our own growth because we fear our potential. We think that the better we get, the less people we'll have. That's bullshit. The more you heal yourself, the better people you'll have. And I know you don't want to put people in boxes of better or worse. Objectively, no one's better or worse, but there's better or worse for you as a person. You have to make the conscious decision. I have to make the conscious decision that I want better for myself. My friend that I might share a trauma bond with, and I heal that trauma, I can't heal their trauma. I can't be like, oh, I'm healed now. Magically heal theirs. Again, you can only heal your trauma if it's a conscious choice. So can they. And if they don't consciously choose to heal with you, and they can't bond with you outside of it, they're going to get left behind. And that's okay. Maybe they will decide, okay, I see that you've healed a bit. Let me try. Tell me what you're doing. I want to be able to heal that part of myself. But if they don't want to, then you can't force it. Same thing with relationships. So if you're looking for better friends, if you're looking for a partner, and you don't want the old negativity that you've been getting from your past relationships, you have to know what you want. And then you have to actively look at what's causing you to choose something that's familiar, repeating the cycle. Analyzing your shadow self is probably one of the most important things you can do for your potential future. I think in the community it's called shadow work. Yes, shadow work is important because you deserve better and your friends deserve better as well. Think about it. If you sit in a negative energy field with a friend, two people create a cohesive net of energy that's hard to move from. If you can elevate yourself, even if you have to leave a few friends behind, that makes it easier for them to get out of their comfort zone, because you leaving them is uncomfortable for them and for you as well, because you love them. Now, when I say leave people, I don't mean I'm going to cold turkey ghost you. No. You realize that the bonding and the experiences you're having are negative, and you just stop choosing to have them. And you communicate in a more conscious way. But a lot of people who are stuck in the trauma can't communicate that way. So they will get left behind. And that's okay. You've made your choice to be better. Now you created the opportunity for other people, for your friends, to do that. And some will and some won't. Usually they don't. But be proud of yourself for choosing better. Be proud of yourself because, yes, you're leaving some negativity behind, but think about it in this way as well. When you get better, you give someone else the opportunity who has done their work or who doesn't share the same trauma to become your friend. So in one way, yes, you might elevate from one friend and kind of deprive them of the negative energy we're feeding them, but you gain a new friend and share a more positive energy. When one door closes, another one opens. Simple concept. So this is a lesson that I have to learn personally. A lot of my past relationships were based on validation. That's why they were so shallow and ended quickly when the pleasure ended. They're all pleasure based. Hey, do you like me? Am I cute? Can we get together? Can we hang out? Can we? And it lasts for like, a few months. You hang out, you have so much fun. And then the moment you are tired or the moment you can't feed that energy anymore, it dies. So you, as a conscious being, what do you want from your life out of people? How do you want your connections to look? What do you want to do with the future friends? Think about this. Envision it. See it clearly in your mind. For me, personally, I would like a friend who's very free-flowing, has a more bright energy field. And I'm not really a fan of the moody, depressive types. Someone who's bright, someone who can just come over whenever they want and be like, hey, how's it going, Shaq? You want to go for a drive? Let's hang out. I like the upbeat type of people who are there to crack a joke, who are there to, be a fun experience with, and don't have so many boundaries in their mind about what's possible with the friendship. I might be speaking from a polyamorous point of view, but I like friendships that are free flowing and don't have expectations. We're just here to have a good time, to relax, to enjoy life. And that's it. That's what I would like from my friendships. Envision what you want from yours, and then think about what's holding you back. My fear is holding me back. I know what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid of connection. I'm afraid of being abandoned. I'm afraid of not being loved. And then work on those. So it's just something to think about. Again, when I come in front of the camera, I don't know what I'm going to say. I don't script anything. I just sit here, look dead in the camera, and feel what I'm feeling. It takes me a minute, maybe 5, to get a thought, to get a feeling that I want to talk about. But when I do, I just let it flow. But that's it for now. Like this video if you enjoy my content. Subscribe if you want to see more from me in the future. And leave a comment. Again, I always love to hear from you guys. I want to hear your thoughts. Tell me what you want from your friendships. Tell me what you need to work on to get there. I'm all ears. But thanks for watching. Have a blessed day.